Hello everyone and welcome back to the New York Empoleon's Week 7 team builder of the SDA. We are already well over halfway through this season. It is an 11-week season and we are on Week 7, and while we don't have a guaranteed chance to clinch a playoff spot today, we are in a very good position if we do win this game, because right now the cutoff for 6th place, which is the end of, so there's top 2 get buys, and then 3rd through 6th will play each other, like 3rd place, 6th, 4th place, 5th, etc. Very NFL style of playoffs. And right now 6th place is 3-3, and the Orlando Magikarps, who are playing this week, who I didn't even say, but we're playing the Orlando Magikarps, are in that group of 3-3. So if we can win this, they get pushed down to 3-4. I don't know what the other teams are going to do this week, but after that, we will be able to hopefully manage to pick up a playoff spot, because if we're 7-0 and 6th place is roughly 3-4, we just need one more win to clinch our spot. That's what we're looking for. We're not quite there yet, so hopefully we can continue to win, because if we lose, we're pushed back down with a lot of other teams. There's a ton of teams right now right behind me ready to pounce, but I'm currently the only undefeated team. So we're going to fingers crossed, get there. The mic is, I can just put it more in frame if you'd like. Would you like the more microphone? Once again, we are doing this live, so hopefully to anyone who wants to watch this live in the future, follow me on Twitch. Simple premise. If you don't, and you just want to watch the edited version on YouTube, well, here you go. My opponent this week is the Orlando Magikarps, coached by The Choice Specs. We've played him a few times before. He's a really fun opponent, very talented coach. Go check him out, links in the description below. But we have a team. Oh boy, do we. So his team is Jolteon, Weavile, Persian, Blacephalon, Flygon, Galarian Articuno, Tapu Fini, Hitmonchan, Ditto, Dottler, and Ferrothorn. Notably, we're going to focus on like those last 5. Dottler a little bit, but the other ones. Fini is a pain. Ferrothorn, we've seen Ferrothorn Fini in the TBL do tons of work. Also a pain. Ditto. Ditto's the big one though. Because my team is so setup heavy, every mon sets up basically, I decided not to necessarily challenge myself, but to present myself with a, we're going to do it anyway. Bring Ditto, and I'm going to make sure every one of my mons wins the Ditto 1v1. So they all set up, not all of them, but most of them set up. You'll see that as we go through the team builder. And I want to bait the Ditto. I want him to bring the Ditto, because I really want him to be like, ooh, he's setting up with these mons, I'm going to steal it, and then realize that I don't actually have coverage to beat myself. And the fact that I have higher base HPs and the fact that I have the ability to change moves is going to be super relevant, assuming that he is Scarf Ditto. So, of course, we can't ignore those top 4, or the top few at least. Weavile, Persian being the 2 mons that resist Shadow Ball from the Spectrier, and Blacephalon is just a scary mon in general. Flygon could be a huge pain, and Galarian Articuno, I can't decide how I feel about. So what we decided to do is lead off, not necessarily lead off the match, but lead off this team builder with the most standard of the Pokemon on my team, I think, which is this max attack, max speed Drapion. Speed tying with the Galarian Articuno, outpacing the Fini. Just figured max speed Jolly was just going to be the way to go here. Max attack, we're not really running a lot of bulk. It's just a T-Spike setter. He has no grounded poison. And then because Ditto comes in and then gets Toxiced and then turns into a Drapion, it has already checked whether or not you get Toxic or soak up the spikes, so the spikes stay, and the Ditto stays poisoned even though it becomes a poison type. So that's good. Fini comes in and sets up Misty Terrain, but gets poisoned before it sets up the Misty Terrain, so that's good. So there is no non-spin or defog way for him to remove the Toxic spikes, which is awesome, and they're just useful for me to have in the matchup. Knockoff is good. Just good. Knockoff is just good. Poison Jab is helpful against the Fini, as well as things that resist Knockoff like the Weavile don't appreciate taking a Poison Jab, and the one thing that can otherwise switch in on this is the Ferrothorn. We're just going to go for a Fire Fang if we need to. It won't kill from full, but it'll do a lot of damage and put it in range of other things later on in the game. So that's what the Drapion set is. It's honestly the most standard of all the mons on my roster, so hopefully this goes well. But the next mon is the Spectrier. The Spectrier was chosen very carefully. It wasn't even going to be 4 moves at one point, but we decided to go with 4 moves. So we have Shadow Ball, Hex, Mud Shot, and Sleep Talk. And that looks like a pretty standard set. Sleep Talk is there because he's got Hypnosis on both the Persian and the Blacephalon, and possibly the Galarian Articuno. I don't even know if that learns Hypnosis, but if it does, we have Sleep Talk just in case he's going for some shenanigans with those. Just have access to it. But the big thing about this Spectrier, and it is max speed, max special attack, just because, again, we're speed talking with the Jolteon, and I just figured let's go for it. And we are choice specs. We're going to lock ourselves into a ghost type move, probably Shadow Ball unless T-Spikes are up, then Hex, and just go crazy. Because his switch in is Persian, which if he brings the Persian, I'm okay with that. And otherwise it's Weavile, and if it's Boots Weavile, then I get to know that because the T-Spikes. And if it isn't Boots Weavile, then Hex is a 2-hit KO straight up. And he doesn't outspeed me unless he's Scarred. So that's pretty sweet. I was going to run Double Kick, but the reason I'm not running Double Kick is because of the Ditto. Because the Ditto can come in, be Choice Scarfed, and threaten me out with a Ghost type attack. So my next Mon, and look, remember this coverage, Shadow Ball, Hex, Mud Shot, and Sleep Talk. My next Mon is Noctowl, which is immune to every move on the Spectrier. So if he Dittos into my Spectrier, I 100% safely go into Noctowl. He cannot touch me. Guaranteed switch into Noctowl for free. Either he switches out himself and loses the Spectrier, which is fine. Or, and especially if my Spectrier has gotten a kill or two and gotten Grim Naze, I go to Noctowl, it's free. Or he stays in, goes for an attack, can't hit in the Noctowl, realizes he can't hit the Noctowl, and then I get a free Hurricane on any Mon on his roster. And if the Mons are chipped, a free Air Slash on any Mon on his roster. Because this is also choice specs. And this is actually probably the Mon I'm most afraid of him stealing with Ditto. But he'll still have to land moves with it if he does decide to do that. So Hurricane, Air Slash, Heat Wave, and Defog is the move coverage on this Noctowl. We're basically just spamming flying type attacks. And so if he goes into if he gets the Spectrier with the Ditto, I go into Noctowl, I get a Hurricane off. It can 2-hit KO every Mon on his roster with choice specs. Defog is there mostly in case he tries to set up some weird like webs with a Dottler or something. I don't expect to click it, but I have it just in case. And I almost didn't want to run Heat Wave because I'm not ever really not going to click Hurricane, and it does allow the Ditto some flexibility, but if the Ditto clicks Heat Wave, I think I prefer that because it's not spamming Hurricane from Tinted Lens Noctowl, and that is the scariest thing he can do with it. So it wasn't a perfect matchup, but I don't think he's going to necessarily want to take my Noctowl with his Ditto. Additionally, I am max HP, and he's Scarfed, and I'm Specs. And he's only base 48 HP, and I'm base 100. So, if he comes in as me, and no damage has been done to this Noctowl, I live a Hurricane guaranteed, and kill guaranteed. So, I have that option as well. Next up is my Scizor. This thing... Scizor learns Curse, apparently, only in Generation 2. Who knew? So, if I wanted Curse, I needed to run Light Metal, and I didn't want to run Light Metal, so I ended up just running Swords Dance. Swords Dance, Roost, Bullet Punch, Bug Bite, Protective Pad, Scizor. Swords Dance, the Ferrothorn comes in, Bug Bite's a 2-hit KO, and I don't take Rocky Helmet, and I don't take Iron Barbs. Easy. Easiest, freest Protective Pads of my life. Ditto comes in, gets my +2 from Swords Dance. Bullet Punch is not a 2-hit KO +2 with my investment. So I can set up another Swords Dance and Roost off the damage from the Bullet Punch. If he comes in at +4, then I can just Bullet Punch and do more damage to him than he's doing to me. But in all likelihood, I'm not going to let this get to +4. I'm just going to get to +2. He's going to take it. I'm going to Roost stall his Bullet Punches and then go for my own once he's run as a PP. Because he only has 5. So, Scizor can 1v1 itself. This is max HP, max defense, impish Scizor. I'm running 4 attack. Honestly, just walls itself and hits everything on his team super hard. I don't even really need attack investment for it to do work. Next up is Clefable. Clefable is the Cosmic Power, Stored Power, Soft-Boiled Flamethrower set with Unaware. So his Ditto comes in, takes the Cosmic Power boost that I've gotten, but again, this is another Mon with well over base 48 HP. So I'm doing more to Ditto than Ditto is doing to me with Stored Power. And I can just soft-boiled off any damage and win the 1v1 eventually because he only has 5 Stored Powers and he's locked in. So you'll see that I don't have a lot of knockoff on this team because I actually would prefer the Ditto to be Scarfed. It's not Scarfed, it's more annoying to me. And he could bring Quick Claw Ditto. I think Quick Claw's legal in this league. He could bring non-Scarfed Ditto. But if it's non-Scarfed Ditto, then he's praying he wins the speed tie. and I have better odds of winning a speed tie than I do against a Scarf Ditto. So if he's Scarfed, he's stuck, and if he's not Scarfed, then I can win speed ties, and he's putting himself at liability, and he still has a lower base HP than me. And again, the Flamethrower was something I really didn't want to run because then this thing can hit the Scizor, so I can't just switch into the Scizor, but I needed it for the Ferrothorn. There's no two ways about it. I needed it for the Ferrothorn. So Cosmic Power, Stored Power is the primary set here. His Dark type is Weavile. Flamethrower hits that. He's got Ferrothorn as his Steel type. Flamethrower hits that. And so we're rocking out with this set. If Ditto comes in, we don't die to a Stored Power, even at +6/+6, because we have Unaware. And we can just soft boil off any damage and eventually 1v1 the Ditto. And last up is my Mew. This is going to be a weird one. This is Calm Mind, Vacuum Wave, Power Gem, and Soft Boiled. I know for those of you who are live here, you can't see it, but every mon on his roster, 100% of the mons on his roster, are hit at worst neutrally by fighting and rock coverage. And you could argue that maybe I should have brought something like Komo-O, which is a fighting type with rock coverage. Or, you know, something else that has fighting and rock coverage on it. But no, I decided to go with the Mew, and the reason is, this sets up and wins the game. Again, nothing immediately threatens me. The Finny is a pain because it can set up alongside me, so I do have to watch out for that because I don't have like Psyshock. I really wanted Psyshock on this set, but I couldn't find a place for it, and I needed everything else. Vacuum Wave beats the Weavile 1v1, beats the Ferrothorn 1v1 if I can get a couple of Calm Minds up before it comes in, and Power Gem kills things that are immune to Vacuum Wave, like the Blacephalon, or a Finny that hasn't set up and I have. It does a ton of damage to, or the Articuno. So this is the set I'm running. Dottler also resists Vacuum Wave 4 times, but is weak to Power Gem. So I figured the one thing I'm worried about is Finny setting up alongside me. So I can't really realistically set this up if Finny comes in, or if Finny's around. I kind of have to be able to pivot into something like the Scizor on the Finny, which is scary because Scizor doesn't OHKO it, and Finny does a lot with a Surf, especially if he gets to +1 with the Calm Mind. But I do think I have answers to the Finny, so I'm hoping that this is going to work. I'm really just trying to catch that Ditto off guard. And if I do lose the match because I went really hard on the Ditto prep and not as much on like the Finny prep, we're here. It's going to be a good time. I'm having fun. And at worst case, I can go into my Clefable on the Finny. No matter how many Calm Minds you have, I'm unaware. I can Cosmic Power. And yeah, Stored Power is going to do a decent amount of damage, but it's not stab. And I can just come in when you're not at like +6. Like I don't wait till you're +6. And then I go into Clefable and I just start setting up my own Cosmic Powers. And if you're going to stay in with your Finny and Calm Mind against my Cosmic Powers, you will eventually lose that fight because you can't break through it. So I have answers to everything, I think. Everything is sort of weird and I'm kind of excited about it. I have no idea how this is going to go. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. Hopefully you guys are excited. And I will see you guys all back here tomorrow with that battle. Take care, everybody.